Hey everybody.
How we
We
doing
I
tonight?
think I think we are live, right? I see we have 5 people watching, so it's good to see everybody on here. You're gonna have to bear with us tonight. I mean, we've been on here playing around and now my earbuds have just totally shot the wad there. So I'm gonna try to maybe get on. We're gonna let a few more people get on here tonight and see what we can do. By the way, I'm Craig. That's Roger.
I'm Roger. How are you guys? So we've got a fun show tonight. You want to tell them a little bit about? Oh, you're off. You went black. You went black, Craig.
I went black. That's because once you. Nah, never mind.
No.
Um, I was trying to get my earbuds to work, but I won't do that. We'll just have to, technical difficulties starting out, but we'll make it work.
Well, you'd think it was our first live stream or something. You
I
got
mean,
to
can
do
you
that your
can
first
you
live
believe it?
stream. No, I mean, come on. I mean, it's your first one. You got to do this.
I mean,
Oh
nothing is going to go the way it should on your first time.
no,
You
because
know.
you're fumbling with that little latch on the back. Oh, sorry.
I
But
mean,
this things like that happen. It's part of life. And
well, we're gonna work through the technical difficulties and we're gonna get it figured out. So, anywho, this is Thursday night. This is Thursday Night Live, not Saturday Night Live, Thursday Night Live. And we're going to see how this works out. And who knows, we may start doing this more often on Thursday nights. That's what we're going to try to do here. So that's right, Uncle Bubba. We popped that cherry in front of 5 whole people. So Roger, what's going on in the bourbon whiskey world? Anything new that we need to talk about, or?
well, I think everybody's seeing all the new releases that are coming out from the various distilleries. But if we notice and we look at all the releases and you look at them, they're not anything that's a new bourbon or a new change. There might be a little bit of finishing here and there and those type of things, but what you're finding is expansion of a particular line. So, like Wild Turkey had the 101. Last year they had a special edition with the 70th anniversary. Well, this year they did an 8-year 101, and basically they don't have to get new juice, they don't have to get new bottles, they just change the little label and put it on there, and it gets them something they can charge a little bit more for. It's in another SKU, and I don't blame them for it, just because it's economies of scale. You don't have to go out and reinvent everything, and you don't have to go out and spend a lot more money. We're going to
Well,
we're
I
seeing it.
mean, Roger, that's the bourbon world, right? I mean, I remember when I first started going down the rabbit hole. I didn't realize. I thought Jack Daniels was Jack Daniels and Jim Beam was Jim Beam. I didn't realize that Jim Beam is actually owned by a Japanese company, and Old Granddad and Jim Beam and Knob Creek and we're all basically under one umbrella.
Yeah.
So they're kind of doing that now under their own brand. Like you were saying, larceny or whatever is basically the same as this Old Fitz.
Yeah, it's the
uh
same Nashville
you know
that that is utilized by Heaven Hill. What's nice about this, about the some of these things, are actually to our benefit, because we're getting access to something. To be honest, with the Old Fitzgerald Bottle and Bond, which we're going to talk about later on, we get access to something that we didn't have access to previously, because honestly, getting Old Fitzgerald in one of these fancy decanters like I've got is nice, but the average person isn't going to see it. There were 9,000 of them made or whatever. Not everybody's going to see it. To give you the other example, this year the decanter for Old Fitzgerald is a 9-year, 100 proof. The MSRP is $149. Anybody tells me they get one for 149, let us know in the comments or whatever. But you can't get it. But now you can get something that's 2 years younger at a bottled and bond with the Old Fitz in the 7 year. Nice bottle. It's not a crystal decanter, but it looks nice. And it's just that expansion of the line, and it's helping. I think it's to our benefit more than anything else.
Well, speaking of the Old Fitz, I mean, I think we should crack in. A little backstory today. A lot of us bourbon legends, we like to have backups before we crack into a bottle. And I know Roger had one. I'd picked up several uh, in the past, but I was up near a liquor store and I called Roger on the way back home and I said, "Hey, you looking for anything?" And he says, "Old Fitz, if they have it." I walked in, bought me a little package of crackers and a bottle of water. And he says, "Is that all?" And I'm like, "Do you have any Old Fitz 7 year bottled and bond?" And he goes, "Well, I believe I do." And they went back in the back office and brought one out. So that's what Roger's drinking. I'm going to have to get this one naked here, get it out of
Yeah, he's got to take it all off.
take it all off.
Yeah, I decided to get rid of that plastic because I'm not good at removing that plastic. It ends up everywhere. And again,
Oh,
here's what Craig mentioned is when he went to the store and he didn't see it, but he went and asked. He went and asked the person there, and they went and grabbed him one. That's part of the whole thing. Don't be afraid to ask the clerk, even if they say no. It doesn't, they might just be waiting for someone to ask, and they pull it out of the office, and it
well,
was really close to MSRP, which is good. And
the thing about going in, I hate wrangling and, wrangling around and trying to make friends with people to get a bottle. But, if you go in there and you don't walk in immediately and say, "Hey, what do you have that's allocated?" I mean, unless you're Daniel.
yeah,
Daniel Beasley can do that, but just make a little rapport with them. You'll get something. I'm not saying this is the greatest bottle in the world, but look, anybody else that walked in this morning, more than likely, if they were looking for it, wouldn't have got it because it was not a shelfer.
yeah, they didn't
So
ask. They didn't make the
that's
ask.
right. All right, Roger, did you pop yours already?
I popped mine. I poured it. Of course, I poured it in my Bourbon Legends Glencairn glass.
So
And
let me ask a question. This is just basically a wheated bourbon. I know some people have said that it's mellow corn, but mellow corn's not a wheated bourbon. That's
no,
a pure
no,
corn product. So if anybody out there is saying that this is just an older mellow corn, you're wrong.
you're
This is a
wrong.
wheat. This is a
Yeah,
wheat.
it's wheated mash bill, same what's used in the Larceny product. Um, the Larceny 92 proof product is the same one. It's just it gets it with the Old Fitzgerald. It's done in a different rick house, and it's done to bottle and bond standards, but also 100 proof.
I'm getting a lot of ethanol on the nose. That's probably because it's a fresh crack. But
Fresh
you,
crack.
you getting that ethanol?
Yeah, a little. It's starting to blow off a little bit now.
Will blow
I'm
mine
picking
out.
up. Yeah, there you go. Get it out of there. Yeah, and
You know,
whatever way you do to use it. I mean, I know that Mike Brock would have taken the cap off this and let it sit overnight before he pulled that out. But hey, it's everybody to each their own.
let's have a sip and see what we think. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
I'm getting a little Kentucky hug there on the finish there.
on the backside of it.
Yeah.
Nice, nice entry when I first on the palate. It's not harsh. I don't. I think a lot of people think you get a little bit of wheat funk. People look for that. I
I'm
don't
not
get
getting
that with
any on
this.
this.
No.
More than anything, I'm getting corn. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why some people have said it's mellow corn because that corn sweetness actually comes through pretty prevalent on that. Don't really get it on the nose, get it on the palate.
Yeah, and it's probably due to maybe to the type of corn they use too, because Heaven Hill does that. Uh, the other products that they do, the bourbon, the rye, and the wheater that they do with that specialized grain, they might be improving or changing and playing with the grains that they use whenever they make these.
We don't know what the mash bill is on this, do we? Is it out there?
I think it's suspected out there. I think there's people that have suspect. I've not seen it listed anywhere.
What little bit I know about distillate is I'm going to say this is pretty high on the corn, uh, and definitely less on the wheat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But I'm also getting a lot of caramel on this as well. Um, and for 100 year, I mean 100 proofer,
It's got
it,
life in
it's
it.
yeah, it's got some good legs on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's got some life in it. The color is probably medium to a little medium dark. Um, nothing like when you go with the older Old Fitzgeralds and things like that, which could turn out very, very dark. Uh, the nice thing I think about it is, I think it's approachable by anybody at 100 proof. I think anybody could grab a hold of this,
I
and
think
it
so.
wouldn't kick them.
And you know the other thing I'm really taking off of this is just very light oak on the palate. I mean, it's just enough to know that it's been in a barrel, but it's not overly oaky. Probably because it's only 7 years compared. I've got an Old Fitz 19. I'm guilty. I haven't cracked it yet, but I'm going to say that 19 year is probably going to be heavy oak.
A little
You
more
know,
oak and a little more chartreuse. Again, probably helped out if they when they proofed it down a little bit, but you can't take it all away. Um, I'm picking up a little. The fruits are starting to come out a little bit now as it opens up a little bit. You
get
know,
let that ethanol.
let ethanol blow off and get that second or third sip. I always find it funny when people go and do reviews on something and they taste it for the very first time and they come up with 1,000 things, and I'm like, I kind of never do that. It takes me a couple of times to take a sip, sit on the tongue before I can pick up all those things.
I'm just one of those type that like if I like it, I like it. I don't necessarily pick up a lot of notes, uh, but that's something I'm working towards every day and night. I or not day, but every day, usually at night,
Yeah,
I try to pick up a little bit more and more on those notes.
I'm picking up a little bit of caramel on there, and
Yeah,
that's probably from the
I had
corn.
caramel on that. Uh, I dare say, and I probably shouldn't, but almost a caramel corn. Like when you go to a fair or a festival, and they're out there cooking that kettle corn, and you got that corn sweetness and that little bit of caramelization on it is kind of what I'm getting.
And it's that smell you get whenever they're making the caramel corn. You know what I mean?
Oh
That's
yeah.
it gets into your nose. Yeah,
I really felt bad for people during COVID when they lost their sense of taste and smell. Uh, you could really become an alcoholic then when you're not tasting or smelling it and you're just drinking it. Jeez.
yeah. Well, it caused a lot of people with the taste piece when it came back. Their taste came back and it was changed, and things that they used to like they didn't like. And you know my wife is the same way. She got it the last time she got it, it kind of threw her off for a little bit. And um you just have to work your way back into it. I still think you just have to keep trying and moving your palate around and doing those things. Looks like we got a couple other people in here. We got story
Yeah,
time in here.
we've got some people coming in
That would
and
be
welcome guys. It's our first time here, so go easy on us. We've done some lives with T and Marty over at from Life on the Patio, but they're the ones that kind of hosted this channel. We were doing the Wednesday night thing for about 30 minutes, and hey, we just decided we want to see what it's like to actually run this show. So we we've got some big shoes to fill. Literally, T's got big shoes. I've seen them.
Yeah, I've seen them
He's got
too.
a, he's got big, he's got
We
big
could,
shoes.
oh yeah, we
Uh,
could sail around in those.
I'm not gonna be able to fill those, but I'm gonna do my best. So anyway, folks, welcome. If you don't know, we are the Bourbon Legends, and I mean everybody can be a bourbon legend, right? I mean, you
Yep.
just have to be legendary and consider yourself a bourbon legend. So uh, I'm going to put a little link here later on how you can join our Patreon group. Easiest way, honestly, to join up is just go to our webpage, which is thebourbonlegends.com. You know, if you can't remember that, you've been drinking too much.
Yeah. I'm
So back to the Old Fitz, Roger, and then we're going to wrap this up. Uh, how much do you think? I mean, you're supposed to be a shelfer, right? I mean, right
right.
now I know it's hard to find. When I was in Florida, there were some places that had it for well over 130 bucks. I know on the secondary at one point it was going upwards of 200 to 300. In your honest estimation, what do you think? Obviously, MSRP is what you want to pay. How much would you pay for this glass?
Honestly, with the fact that I know that it's going to be another release of this coming up in August, there's more of this initial release that hasn't hit the shelves and hit some of the big box stores. I'm going to top it off at $75 just because I don't think in our budgets we don't need to spend more money than what it's really going to end up eventually being worth. Uh, I think within our group, there'll be other people that might not find it. There'll be people that can find it. We'll share a few samples here and there. But, the idea is I don't think spending more than $75 is, and that's the price, not with tax, because, depending on where
Right.
you're at, tax will kill you. But
We're not talking about out the door. I know here in Arkansas, tax. Well, that bottle I got for you today, it was MS. Well, it was priced at $64. Time we put the tax on it and everything, it was right at 72. And I didn't even charge you a service fee or delivery or anything. So
no, no, no. I was going to buy you lunch too, but you just didn't have time.
working man. So let's move on. I wanna talk about the bourbon legends now. And one of the things we didn't really hit on in our brief talking about it was you brought up a good point about giving out samples or whatnot. But one of the things that I think what makes our group so good right now is we like to share. And when I say share, I'm talking about like today, I picked up a bottle for Roger. One of the things that we do, and we are from all over the region, say for instance, somebody in Mississippi can get Crittendens where we can't here in Arkansas. A lot of times we'll just have them buy and then they'll package it up and mail it to us. And to me, that's one of the things that makes this group so good. Also, we like to get on here and talk and have pours, and we may talk serious. We may talk, you know, about people's hernias and things like that. But that's
If you
that's
know,
what
you
I think
know.
makes the group, good. And we're up and coming. I mean, we probably jumped in on this about 2 years too late. A lot of people are bourboned out or whiskeyed out, and we're just really getting into it. And we're really wanting to do a lot of things. We're wanting to do trips, barrel picks, merchandise. You can see I've got my shirt on here, Bourbon Legend shirt. Roger has his on. And one of the things we want to do is we want to have fun. And one way that we're going to try to have fun is this coming Saturday night. We're going to go live. We're not going to go live on YouTube. We're going to go live on our Discord page. But what we're going to do is we're giving away a bottle of Weller Antique 107. Now, I'm not giving it away, just for everybody. You have to become a member. Uh, well, no. Let's not do that. Let's just
No,
let anybody. Yeah, I mean that really is what's legendary, right? I mean,
Yeah, have them stick
Why
their
keep it
toe
to
in, and
ourselves?
yeah, have them stick their toe in and get used to us, like us,
Yeah.
and like, comment, and subscribe.
Well, I mean, now that we say this, I kind of put my foot in my mouth. I guess we're going to have to put it out there and let these people have a shot at it. And boy, you might have to help me because when you organize these things, you don't necessarily remember everything. But Roger, do you know, or can you look up while we're here? I know if you spend $20, you get 10 tickets. I believe if you spend, is it? Oh man, see, here's where I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to. Anyway, if somebody out there could help me, that's already bought a ticket. Most people are buying $20 tickets. That gives you 10 chances. We're going to put them in the wheel of names. Uh, $10 will get you, I believe, 5 tickets. Can't remember what the bottom tier is. Maybe it's like $3 for one ticket. But anyway, I'm gonna do this for everybody that's watching. We've got 17 people watching. I think it's pretty respectable for the first night. That's probably our wives, daughters, and kids all together watching too. But if you've got your phone nearby, take a screenshot of this or take a picture. We're going to end this on Saturday evening, but there is where you can go to the Venmo. And like I said, now if you do join the group through Patreon, you will automatically have a ticket given to you. And we're going to do these things. We want to do them every month, but right now we're going to try to do them every quarter. So we're going to leave that up here for just a little bit, let you get your pictures, your screenshots. Like I said, you can go to Discord. If you go to our Discord, it will be in there under quarterly giveaways, and the links there. You can also take your picture there, scan your Venmo, send that money. And what we're going to do is we're taking all these proceeds. We've got a few bills we need to pay, but after that, we're just going to put all this money in the kitty. And then when it comes time for us to try to do a barrel pick, it's not going to be up to one or two or three people to pick it and hold on to that money. We want to have, it's a lot of money to buy a barrel. But we want to have enough money to where we can buy that barrel. And then if we have to set on, 10 bottles of it that never sells, it's not out of anybody's pocket, but the whole group's. So anyway, I'm going to remove this now. And where you're going to move on, I'm going to leave that scrolling at the bottom. We're going to talk about how dadgum hot it's been.
Yeah. Today, 97 degrees with, and it felt like 110 or 11.
It
And I'll
is
tell
not
you,
a good time to be shipping bottles.
no. And that's what we will mention is we're not going to ship the winter. We're not going to hand deliver that bottle in this heat. We're not going to
Nah.
hand deliver it because you don't. Well, one of the things you don't want to do if you're buying bourbon on a regular day on a go hunting around town, you don't want to go leaving that bottle sitting in the back seat in the sun for a long period of time. That's why I always carry a cooler bag around inside my car and keep that thing out of the heat because I think there's a few of our other legends that have discovered that the cork will pop out and it
That's
will
a
get too
definite.
hot.
But now,
And
besides the bad things that can happen with this kind of heat, let's talk about what are some of the good things that can happen. Uh, how does the heat actually affect bourbon? Does anybody know? I mean, Roger, I know you have to know something about that.
well, in when you're dealing with it in the barrel, it causes the barrel to expand because we've been doing me and you have been doing quite a few little projects ourselves with new oak barrels. But when you go to the distillery and you see it, it causes it to expand, but also it soaks it into the wood inside the barrel, and that's when you start, having that more interaction with the oak. There's a heavier interaction. The heavier the warmer the winters, the more interaction there is in the barrel, which is a lot of the distilleries will have a chart out on their website that says this is what the heat was at this particular time, showing you the cycle on where their rick houses are, and it
right?
can affect a lot of the things that go along with the aging of that bourbon and that whiskey.
But now, too much of a good thing may not be a good thing, you know,
Right.
uh, because it does help intensify the aging process. But there's also something to be said about, you know, an ebb and a flow, hot summers, cold winters, maybe a hot spell in the middle of winter, maybe a cool front in the middle of summer that will cause all that interaction between the barrel and the wood sugars and whatnot. But now think about this over in Tennessee. I mean, I'm sorry, Alabama and Texas. I mean, it's hot all the time, and you're seeing a lot of dark distillate coming out of those areas. But I hate to say it, I'm not a big fan of Texas whiskey. There's something about it I don't like, and I think it's over oaked. I think it's too much heat. But I mean, it just depends.
Well, I think with a lot of the Texas whiskey, they also utilize some smaller barrels. They use a 30-gallon barrel, which makes a big difference in that whole process because you're definitely getting a lot more reaction to the oak in a smaller vessel as it goes along. Um, I think the key is going to be having that quiet balance. I know that a few of them have started to get that way. I'll speak of Still Austin. Some of the others, their stuff's approachable. Some of
Right.
them are very. You have to be used to that type of, as they call it, the Texas funk. You have to enjoy it and have to like it.
Well, that's why there's all these different kinds of whiskeys and ryes and whatnot because everybody's tastes are different. Uh, is there any other ways that the heat, what else that can do to your distillate?
Well, I think that what we've got is a lot of the distilleries are changing maybe some of the rickhouse processes that they're doing. They're actually managing that heat that's in the rickhouse. Some of them are actually cooling the rickhouses by placing fans in it, rotating, and some of them actually, like Old Forester, have the racks and they move it around inside the rickhouse so that the barrel gets the effect of the heat from the bottom to the top of the rickhouse. Because if you've ever been in a rickhouse, especially the ones that like Buffalo Trace or some of those others, there's a big difference between the first floor and the sixth floor. It can be a 20 to 30 degree temperature difference because it's getting cooler, but it's not getting as warm down in that lower level, which affects the ability and how long you can leave it in the barrel.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe isn't it Old Forester uh, that does that in their rick house there on Whiskey Row? They kind of rotate their barrels through uh, there. You
I think there's a few more of them that are doing it now. They might not be advertising it because they've been building. If anybody's been to Kentucky, in the last 5 to 10 years, there has been a 3 or 4 fold build of new rick houses going in all over the state of Kentucky, and they're all a little bit different. They all trying to come up with some different way of getting that barrel to have an interaction, but also to not be have it more positive, not negative. As far as the reaction to that
right?
heat.
And another thing talking about heat is it's going to really cause the angel share, more than anything, evaporation of of the distillate in the barrel. You're going to lose some water in that, and a lot of times the proof is going to come up, and that's directly based upon heat as well. So
Definitely,
all
definitely.
all good things, but like I say, really, in my opinion, to make a good whiskey, good bourbon, you want that whole cycle. You don't want too much heat for too long, too much. But I mean, that's why you're seeing these whiskeys and bourbons that are aged for 8, 10, 12, 15 years, uh, that barrel interaction. Some people say it's 80% of the flavor. Uh, I would say Coopers will say 80% of the flavor comes from the barrel, and the master distillers are probably not quite so high. But anywho, hey,
Yeah, and talking about that, you're adding that few years. Another product that's coming on the market here that I put some information in our Facebook page about is the 7-year bottle and bond Old Granddad. We know they've had a 4-year product out there that's been around for a while. You have the Old Granddad 114, and now they're adding the 7-year bottle and bond product out there. And then they have a 100 proofer that's a 10-year product that sells, to me, I think too much. I think it sells for around $200. So they're bringing something into the market maybe that's going to help with that, and it's going to show you the variations and what the same mash bill tastes like as it's done in longer periods of time in the rick house.
good points. We brought in Uncle Bubba there. Hey, how's it going, man?
How's it going, Craig? Roger, how y'all doing tonight?
Good,
we're
sir.
we're just trying to hold the fort down tonight. It's a little different here than being
Y'all
on
doing fine,
Discord.
man. Doing fine.
We can't say too many cuss words here and everything else. Hey, you're live on TV. Say hi, honey.
That's my wife, Melissa.
So, what are you drinking tonight?
Right now, water.
H2O.
Water. Oh, hey,
Oh, that's right.
You pour more,
I
whatever
had
you
a
want.
little. I
As
had a
we
little
say,
water.
hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And if Shane's still out there, I still have my story time mug.
You got to hydrate, or otherwise you will get inebriated. So you hydrate before you inebriate. That's what I like to say.
Exactly.
I don't know if we have much more to talk about. Does anybody out there have any questions? Maybe we could answer them for you. If not, we can make up a lie. Do you like what you see? Do you want to have any ideas for us? I mean, one thing that we want to do is we want to start doing some blinds, maybe. Uh, you know, Maybe even take Discord and kick it over here to YouTube and let people in the YouTube world actually see what we do in the Discord. So we
Yeah,
will see.
we'll have to get the language rating on there for that. But other than that, we'll be okay.
Well, we have this marked for no children to watch, so that way,
We're
we
safe.
don't want
We're
to.
safe.
Look,
So
we here we don't have a question, Roger,
Dragon.
but we have a comment. Christy Randall. I don't know who she is. She says, "I love who I see."
I
She
think
must be talking about Uncle Bubba.
Uncle
I'm
Bubba,
pretty
yeah.
sure. And I don't think I know it's not me. So,
It might be me.
oh yeah, the last names. Is that
Yeah,
your
that would be
sister?
my
Is that your?
lovely
It
wife.
must be your sister, huh?
Yes. No.
Well, uh,
Lovely wife.
yeah. Chill. Will is telling me I need to tame my mouth. So sometimes I learn from the best of them with those 4-letter words.
Well, and here's that's somebody we definitely need to get on here sometime because
Yeah.
he is a mid-level celebrity. You know that. Chill Will
Like,
Rocco is a mid-level celebrity. And you
Well,
can
hey,
go out to his YouTube page, which is Chill Will Rocco, subscribe because he needs more subscribers, boys and girls. And the same goes with the Bourbon Legends. If you know anybody and you're
yeah, it
watching this
is.
and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, give us a comment. We got thick skin. Let us know what's going on.
I don't really have too thick a skin. You guys might.
Well, I've seen a lot of things, so I'm a little bit
Well,
older than you.
a little bit, just a
Little
little.
bit. Little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, you know. So, does anybody have anything else? I've kind of run out of material here tonight. I think what have we been on for 34 minutes? Gosh, when we're on with T and Marty, it seems like 30 minutes goes by in a flash. And when you're running this thing by yourself, it's like time just never goes by. 34 minutes in. We'll have to try to get more material next time.
Anything, Bubba? What did you find a new bottle to drink, or can you hear it?
My wife has a question about Blanton's Gold.
Okay.
And is it worth the price? And right now we're trying some 1792 foolproof, a store pick.
1792 foolproof. You get a big thumbs up for me, especially store picks. Those are always really good. My opinion on Blanton's and Blanton's Gold. I'm not a Blanton's basher. I think it fits a profile. It fits a range. It's 103 proof for the gold. I wouldn't overspend on it too much because it's not worth what it was before, and I think it's coming down. You're seeing Blanton's out there on the shelves selling for $69 to $70 to $80 when you didn't see it, and you see cases of it.
Yeah.
So I think we'll start seeing more of that with the Blanton's Gold as well. It'll be store picks, things like that.
I don't know what the cost was on it, but Blanton's Gold dropped earlier this week at in Memphis, and there was quite a bit of it floating around through Memphis. Honestly, so if you can find it, I would much prefer the straight from the barrel, which is more expensive. But it's only money, right? I mean, hey, nah. I haven't really found a bourbon I don't like. I don't like the price tags on a lot of them, but Mike Brock, welcome in. Well, you have any advice on the Blanton's Gold for Uncle Bubba?
Not my favorite. So if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. So,
Okay.
I'll pass on that.
And for all those people out there that are looking at Mike Brock, he has a striking resemblance to a couple of figures in bourbon legend out there. Him and Basil Hayden, pretty close, as well as a certain man that we dearly love, Jimmy Russell. We went down to see him, and I tell you what, he is a legend with our group. He's fun to have around. He keeps us out of trouble. But one thing I'll tell you, boys and girls, don't get on his lawn.
That's what I was about to ask y'all. What makes you think you should be on my lawn tonight?
Breaking news. Stay off of Mike's lawn.
Yes.
And stay out of Craig's cornfield.
Oh man.
What?
I don't even want to talk about my cornfield.
He CSI'd it last night. We think
I checked my cornfield out this morning. It was the bandits that got it. Those raccoons.
Mm-hmm.
Because they left evidence behind. But boy, I tell you what, that just makes you sick when you're going to have so many hundreds of ears of sweet corn, and then them sorry little devils get in there and eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
now, see, when a lot of you guys sat there and told me, well, maybe somebody, some corn thief stole it. I'm like, well, you know what? If they're hungrier than me, then they can have it. But I don't feel the same way with those little varmints.
No, I think it's time for them to exit stage left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have a few people here that can help you grab them. Will there could probably trap them in his sleep.
Probably.
I grew up with my dad was a coon hunter, and back in the day, and I've hunted my share and taken out my share growing up.
But you know what? I don't think you can ever get rid of all of them.
No. Not when they do. They have 7 of them at a time, and they don't have any predators. But That's a whole another channel we get into.
Yep.
Well, guys, I tell you what, we've almost pushed. Hey, what's Mike showing off there?
I've
What you
been
got there,
dropping
Mike?
these. I've been dropping these all over South Georgia.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks this is the neatest thing since sliced bread. And you can go on the back,
Got one
scan it,
myself.
and go straight to our website. So
Yeah, that's our coins that we give out, wooden nickels. Usually, when you order something from us, whether it be a hat or a T-shirt or a Glen Karen, I'll throw in a handful of those, and then you can take them around. Mike, can you explain a little bit? I know you were telling us the other night on Discord about when you took them in to that store in Georgia, that liquor store there, and what the people thought of them.
it was like I was saying, everybody's thinking that this the best thing since sliced bread. They thought it was pretty neat, and they're wanting to know where they can get some done for their store to be like that. And they said this is a selling thing. And I had actually, and this was the people at the counter, I had actually dropped some on the shelves, and some people came in and bought some bottles, and they picked these up and brought them up to the counter while I was there, and asked the people there, what are these all about? And the people behind the counter, after I had explained it to them, they were telling the people about them, and they said, take them, go scan that thing on the back, go to that website and learn all about it and see what you figure out. Might be that's something that they're thinking about joining. So
maybe I need to get a patent on that, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, I think you need to put up the breaking news. I've got breaking news. And this is in concerns to our Saturday night raffle.
Uh-oh.
What's that, Roger? You kind of muted out there for a minute.
Okay. Well, we got breaking news. This is concerning our Saturday night giveaway of the Weller Antique 107.
Yeah.
It looks like there might be a few more items coming up on that night.
Uh-oh.
And all I have to say is you just got to stay tuned, got to be listening, get on the channel, get out there and get those tickets. And, hey, if you've got that QR code again, put that up again.
Yeah, I can put that QR code up here one more time.
I'm thinking that, there might be something for the top 5 people that get picked on there on Saturday night now. So this thing's getting a little interesting, and we've got some other legends out there. And if they've got some ideas on things they want to maybe contribute to the process, we can do that. But definitely stay tuned to it and buy those tickets early and often.
Be sure you get on the Discord and get into the June giveaway or the quarterly giveaway page, and it'll walk you through the steps of what everything is. You can use the Venmo right here to send your donations in. It's going for a good cause. So,
well, one of the things is once we get up on our feet really good, learn, what do you always tell me, Mike, baby? What is it? You got to crawl and then before you learn to walk.
Crawl, walk, and run.
Right now we're between the crawling and the walking, but when we start getting to where we're running, I don't see any reason why we can't be, doing these things every month instead of every quarter.
Right.
Hey, and Craig, can you tell people where they can get these fancy Glencairns?
Can I tell people what, Roger? You cut out on me, buddy.
Well, where we can get these fancy Glencairns that we've got?
Technical difficulties, I think, over there in North Little Rock. I think what Roger's wanting to show off was that Glencairn, and we actually have those in stock, and you can buy them, and we'll ship them out there to you. You just go to our webpage, thebourbonlegends.com. There's a little tag up there at the top that says, I think, shop. Click that button. You can get all sorts of goodies. I don't want to speak too soon. I'm supposed to be finding out, I think, tomorrow, but we're trying to do a hat that has our logo. You can see it up in the upper right corner, but in gold embroidery. And that would be pretty snazzy if we could get that pulled off. And And that way you can walk around, wear that hat, and people can say, "Hey, where'd you get that hat at?" From
Yep.
the bourbonlegends.com. That's really kind of how we got this whole deal started. Several of us went to Bardstown a couple of months ago. We had these shirts on, and everywhere we went, boy, we were stopped. We really thought we were celebrities. Come to find out, we were just legends, but we weren't. We weren't real celebrities, but that was pretty fun. So, and like Mike was showing those little tags. Well, we had bigger ones, and we had them on some lanyards, and we would go into liquor stores or distilleries, and we might hang them on bottles, and uh, maybe there was one over Mr. Jimmy's right shoulder. I'm pretty sure there was.
I'm thinking there's one on a. I'm thinking there's
All
one
right,
on a
guys.
rail.
Hey, I think this has been pretty good for our first live. Uh, any final thoughts anybody wants to say, or anyone? Bueller?
Just
Bueller?
Go ahead, Bubba.
like and subscribe. Join the Bourbon Legends. Join the Patreon. You know,
Yeah, come
Can
on
you
over.
hear me now,
Come
Craig?
on over and we have a good time in the Discord. But like Uncle Bubba said, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Check out our webpage where all the merch is and everything else. Go in there and
Somebody got the audio on.
I lost my audio.
That's
I got a lot of audio.
well. We always have to have a little feedback.
Yeah, a little bit.
How's
Well,
that?
All right.
I think we need to pop off here. Everybody have
All
a
right.
good night. If you're a Bourbon Legend, chop out to the Discord and we'll be out there.
The bar will be open in Discord soon.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Did you end it?